Coming up here on the Raiders Report, I got 8 offensive winners and 8 defensive winners, but then I also got 4 offensive losers and 4 defensive losers. The Raiders did not practice on Thursday, August 3rd, so I figured it was the perfect opportunity for some Raiders training camp winners and losers so far. If you don't know how to support the show, the 3 easiest ways to do it: hit the like button on every video I drop, make sure you comment and share your thoughts with the rest of the nation, and then hit that subscribe button. That way, you never miss anything. Let's go to the very first Raiders training camp winner here. It's Davante Adams, and he's a winner because he's unguardable, right? Like, he's the best receiver in the NFL, better than Justin Jefferson. Sorry, Seeps. But Adams, to me, is just on a whole nother level, and he just shows it day in and day out, and he's also a professional. Another winner here, it's Hunter Renfrow, and the reason why Renfrow is a big-time winner is, let's face it, myself, a lot of people out there didn't know where exactly he was going to be able to fit in this offense, and it looks like he's fitting pretty damn well. Giggity. Let's go to Tre Tucker, another big-time winner from training camp. I mean, the more and more stories I hear around him, his athletic ability and his ability to go all over the football field, they're going to use him in screens. They're going to use him in motions. They're going to use him as a decoy. But the way that the Raiders are really using him in their offense, it's not going to impact Renfrow, which is what I'm really excited to see. Let's go to another winner here from Raiders training camp so far. It's Dylan Parham. And Parham, to me, put on a lot of good weight. He got really sick last season, and I don't know if you guys remember that, but the fact that he was pretty damn sick, he lost a lot of weight, and then he had the ability to put on some muscle, and the fact that he put on some muscle shows, and he's got that versatility. Dylan Parham, big-time winner. Let's go to another winner here. It's Jesper Horsted. Like, Horsted was somebody who I didn't know if he was going to make the 53-man. Put on a little bit of weight. This coaching staff likes him. They cut O.J. Howard, and because they cut Howard, sure, they signed Jacob Hollister, but to me, this Raiders team right now is just screaming, we're keeping 3 tight ends: Horsted, Mayer, and Austin Hooper. For that, it makes Horsted a winner. Let's go to another winner here. It's Zamir White. He's been running physical. He continues to look good in practice. He looks motivated, and he's going to get more work this season. Do I think J.J. comes back? Yes, I do. Do I think Jacobs is going to be the Raiders starting running back week 1? Yes, I do. But Zamir White has to be a winner for taking advantage of the fact that Jacobs is not at training camp right now. Another winner, Sincere McCormick. I got a few people at Raiders practice every day, and I always ask certain questions about certain guys, and I will continue to ask questions about McCormick. He's running physical. And I asked him a question back on, August 1st, first day when they put the pads on. And I was like, give me one player who you think is the most happy that pads are on today. He said Sincere McCormick. Like, he was like, dude, guy is balling out, running really physical. He's got to be a winner in my books. And then another winner here is Jimmy Garoppolo. He showed up in training camp on time. Yes, he's been on a pitch count. Yes, he had to rest one day. He had one really bad practice, which was Monday. But from there on out, it sounds like the Raiders' offense has been clicking. It sounds like that he's understanding it. He's going out there with a mentality, with a swagger, and I love what he's bringing to the field right now. Jimmy Garoppolo, big winner here for the Raiders at training camp. Before I show you some of the losers, because unfortunately we do have to have some, I want you to name a Raiders training camp winner on offense so far. Let's go to some of the losers now on the offensive side of the football. Keelan Cole Sr., he didn't make the 53 last year, but he was on the roster after a few weeks. The problem for him is the Raiders' wide receivers are deep than depth. He's not going to play special teams this upcoming season, and because of that, he's going to be one of the odd men out. Another guy that it's just really unfortunate, DeAndre Carter and Tre Tucker basically make DJ Turner, like, we don't even need the guy anymore. He was a fun player, a UDFA, definitely somebody that I rooted for, but got to be a loser here. Another loser, unfortunately, is Justin Herron. He re-injured his leg the other day at practice, and because of that, it's just going to make him fall further and further down the depth chart. McClendon Curtis has looked good. Dalton Wagner has looked good. Brandon Parker has actually looked pretty good. Thayer Munford, they like a lot. So for Herron, he's not a top 10 offensive lineman on this team, even though the Raiders traded for him, and I don't think he's going to end up making this roster. Another loser is actually somebody that if you're watching this live, we just got news on him, and the Raiders just placed running back Austin Walter on IR. So when I made this video, I didn't know that he was getting placed on IR, but he was going to be a loser anyway. He did not practice on Wednesday, which this is probably the reason. but he also wasn't going to make the team anyway. And sometimes running backs will do this if they want to ensure themselves at least getting paid a little bit. He could end up retiring. I don't know what the option is going to be. I obviously wish Austin Walter a speedy recovery, but he had a 0% chance of making this roster anyway. Coming up, we got more winners and losers on the defensive side of the football, and I'm a fantasy football guy at heart, and I love talking about the offense. But I know that this next part coming up here around the defense is where a lot of Raider fans have that concentration because the defense, let's face it, it needs to be better. I don't know about y'all, but I'm all about a deal. If you're walking through a store and you see sale, my eyes are instantly like, that's where I'm going. And I got some awesome items here on sale for y'all right now. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders sale. That link's going to be available for you guys down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So if you need a brand new Raiders hoodie, if your wife, your girlfriend, fiance, daughter needs some Raiders gear, it's all available. You got a kid? Guess what? Got some Raiders gear. You need some Raiders gear for yourself? It's all available. It's hundreds and hundreds of items at chatsports.com/Raiders sale. All right, let's go to some Raiders training camp winners. I don't want to say the biggest winner, but the guy that just looks like the most dominant player out there every day is Maxx Crosby. He's unguardable. I can't wait to see what he looks like in the regular season because every year he's gotten better. And he just continues to have a different mindset of, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. And I know Max loves UFC. He just reminds me of a UFC fighter where if he was in a cage, I'm good. Here's the white towel. That guy's going to kill me. Crosby, I'm definitely happy he's on our team. Another winner on the defensive end side, it's Adam Plant Jr., the UDFA from UNLV. I would say right now there's a 75% chance that he makes this roster. This coaching staff is a sucker, which I don't like to use the word sucker because it makes it sound bad. But this coaching staff is a sucker for players that have that mentality, for professionals on and off the field. And the fact that he's only a rookie and carries himself the way that he does and then backs it up on the football field, that's why Adam Plant Jr. is going to be making this team. Let's go to another winner here. It's Javon Merrick. And I'm not saying that he's been outstanding like a lot of these other players in terms of what I expected. But Merrick has been a good player because a lot of people didn't know what exactly was going to happen when they drafted Chris Smith. It sounds like he's picking up the defense in the third year of this Patrick Graham. His third season, second year with Patrick Graham. And then I got to throw out the name Isaiah Paulomeo for the simple fact of shows really good versatility. He had an interception during Wednesday's practice and then really might make this team again, which I'm excited to see. Another big winner, which I know is going to make a lot of y'all excited, it's Marcus Peters. I had one buddy tell me he looks better than Nate Hobbs. This is your number one cornerback on your team. And I know what Nate Hobbs can bring to the table. If that ends up being true and he's 2 years removed from that ACL surgery, if Peters is the number one guy, this could end up being one of the better signings that the Raiders had. Another winner, which I'm so happy about because if y'all have watched this show for a long time, you'll know that I've always been a big Amik Robertson fan. And I have said that he's got the raw end of the deal because of all the different defenses he's had to learn. He's had to learn Gus Bradley's defense, Patrick Graham's defense. He's had to learn Paul Gunther's defense. You learn three different defenses, and you have a rookie in the fourth round in a COVID season. That's about as tough as it gets starting out your NFL career. Robertson's a dog. He's been getting some work with the first team, but there's a lot of depth here. I'm pulling for Robertson to make this team, no doubt about it. Another winner is Sam Webb. Continues to look really good. UDFA last season. I don't know if he's going to make this team. But if this organization does end up keeping 7 corners, I got a feeling Sam Webb's going to be corner number 7. And then the final winner here is Jacorian Bennett. I think Jacorian Bennett might start over Duke Shelley. If you were to tell me right now the top corners on this team, I'm saying Nate Hobbs, Marcus Peters, and then it's a tier break. Jacorian Bennett is the fastest guy on this team. I'm confidently, I could say that if we had a race right now, every single Raiders player, you tell them to sprint 50, 60 yards, Jacorian Bennett's going to win. He's physical, he's a great player, and the advantage that he has over Duke Shelley is the height and the length. People talk a lot about Tyree Wilson's wingspan. I bet you pound for pound, and I don't know if it's the pound for pound or is it inch for inch? Is that kind of how you would go for it? Jacorian Bennett's arms inch for inch with Tyree Wilson, sounds like there's a major pause there, is like the same thing. Long arms, physical guy. I do think Shelley might be a player that gets the start at first, but don't be shocked if Bennett starts sliding his way in and start getting some serious playing time because the dude can flat out play, especially in man coverage. Now, here's what I want you guys to do. Name a player that's a winner on the defensive side of the football from training camp. I see AP209 said he can hit 2. Oh, he can hit 2. Corey Bennett is a baller. Let's now go to the part that I hate doing, but hey, I got to do it. Losers on the defensive side of the football. John Jenkins, he just looks old. I know that he was a player in Rob Leonard's defense back with Miami. He's got plenty of connections. But the more and more I look at this Raiders team, and if I'm going to be betting on a defensive tackle, I would rather bet on a DT that's not 34 years old. Like, he's going to be your 6th defensive tackle. I'd rather just bet on a young guy. So, unfortunately, John Jenkins, he's got to be a loser. Another loser I'm going to throw out here is Davante Adams. And it's because the expectations were here. Diablo hasn't been bad. Let me clarify that right now. He has not been bad, but he has not been the expectation. He was given the green dot. They gave him the nickname Big Swole. He missed practice for an undisclosed injury. He was back out there on Wednesday, which obviously you like to see. But there's got to be a reason why the Raiders worked out Jalen Smith. There's got to be a reason why the Raiders signed Darius Harris. And I almost put the entire Raiders linebacking room on here because from people who I talked to, I was like, what's the most underwhelming group right now at Raiders training camp? Linebacker has been the unanimous answer that I have been given, which I'm not totally surprised by, which kind of gives me to my next loser here in Darian Butler. Butler had a small shot to make this team. He has had work with Antonio Pierce, who was at Arizona State, now the Raiders linebacking coach for the 2nd season. The problem with Butler is there's just no room for him. The Raiders at most are going to keep 4 linebackers, at most. Butler's not in the top 4. Then the final loser is Roderick Teamer Jr. The Raiders have been sniffing around looking for another safety for a little bit, and I know they signed Jaquan Johnson. Teamer is a good special teams player, but they brought in Ronnie Harrison for a reason. You already have Chris Smith. He's going to make the team. You got Marcus Epps going to make the team. Trevon Merritt going to make the team. I think Isaiah Palomeo makes the team over him. So it's not that Teamer played bad. And I'm being real with y'all. During training camp, you're not going to find a lot of reports of this guy's been bad. It's usually good. The way that I do my training camp winners and losers a lot of time is this guy played really well or this guy's doing the right thing, which makes this guy a loser. So hopefully that makes sense to y'all. All right, let's go through these names one more time here. A quick little recap. Appreciate everyone tuning into our Raiders winners and losers from training camp. A lot of guys on offense. The names to really keep in mind on for like this one right here, I think Tre Tucker is definitely a name to keep in mind. I did a video earlier in the week, or I guess last week about this. Jesper Horsted's a new name, and that's because O.J. Howard is no longer a member of this team. The loser side of it, Justin Herron got injured. Austin Walter's season is over, which when I started the show, for those of you not watching this, or for those of you watching live, when I started the show, the news didn't come out. And then the news came out as soon as the Austin Walter. So he's on IR. Some defensive winners. The important name here, Adam Plant Jr., Isaiah Palomeo, definitely guys on the roster bubble. Then your eyes are going to go to Marcus Peters. I already know that. Watch out for Sam Webb to be another sneaky guy that could be making this team. And then training camp losers, then the eyes are going to go to Divine Diablo. But it's not because he's played bad. It's because of the other things that the Raiders have done at training camp, which makes me wonder, what does that linebacker unit actually look like? So before I head on out of here right now, here's your opportunity to share your comments down below. Who did I leave off my list? If I left a player off the list, all I ask you to do is this. Put player name and then put winner or loser. Does that make sense? So if you want Aiden O'Connell on the list and he's a winner, put Aiden O'Connell winner down in the comments. That way I know exactly who you're talking about and exactly why I left him off my list. If you haven't already, subscribe, turn those noties on. We got one hell of a live show, and if you don't already know, and we have a live show coming up Friday for those of you that are going to watch this video tomorrow. Our Friday live show, Happy Hour. I don't want you to miss it. It's going to be starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, so tune in to the Raiders Report.